Hello and welcome to News Round. I'm Will Ibong, and here are a recap of some of the stories that made headlines during the week. ASUU cries out to Senate, says only bold financial intervention can end the endless cycle of strikes. A new era at INEC as Senate confirms Professor Joash Amupitan as electoral umpire. In African medical history rewritten as Professor Kingsley Kweme performs first urology surgery in West and Central Africa. Former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga's body arrives home for state funeral. And that's News Round in View. We begin with the Senate, which is set to convene a crucial talks between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Nigeria Universities, ASUU, aimed at resolving the ongoing industrial action and the University of Abuja land disputes. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund, Senator Aliyu Dandutse, will disclose this after a closed-door session with ASUU leadership said the Senate is determined to mediate and ensure universities resume full academic activities.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities appeared before the Senate Committee on Tertiary Institutions and TED Fund 5 days after commencing a 2-week warning strike over unmet demands.
Get us to where we are today.
The president of ASUU, Professor Christopher Piwona, delineates their position, underscoring the issue of funding as central.
The issue of the 2009 agreement is very central to the growth and development of our universities.
Is it too much to pay us living wages of even the West Africans' average to improve our universities? They say our students do very well when they go outside the country. Imagine we are even more motivated than we are today. Imagine what our students will do. Try us and see. Push government to increase funding to universities and see whether there will be strikes in this country. Push government to improve funding in Nigerian universities and see whether our students and our universities, our ranking, will not, surpass all these African countries.
They also raised an alarm over attempts by the FCT minister to take a portion of the land belonging to the University of Abuja.
If the minister is interested in taking land, why is he not moving to take land in the opposite direction from the military? We have been asking ourselves this question, really. And distinguished senators, you will be helping that university if you stop the minister from taking any piece of land from that university.
The lawmakers are equally displeased over the matter.
We are talking of long-term investment. Universities are long-term investments. Okay? And like you said, we can use it for agricultural purposes, we can use it for all forms of research. And knowing fully well that the student population will continue to increase, and the need for lecturers, accommodation, and will continue to increase. So please, we'll tell Wike, or the Honorable Minister for FCT, that he should please put a halt to that move. We are not in support.
The meeting then dissolves into a closed-door session, after which the committee outlines a series of solutions.
Convey the government agencies and ASUU, most especially the Ministry of Education and NUC, for a negotiating as soon as possible so that we can resolve this lingering problem. Senate agrees to interface with the Minister of FCT. Also, other needs will be studied and appropriate steps will be taken to ensure amicable resolution.
The committee has asked ASUU to submit their demands in writing to help the Senate develop medium and long-term legislative solutions to the protracted crisis in the sector. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Now, still with the Senate, the lawmakers have confirmed Professor Joash Amupitan as the new chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission after an exhaustive screening during plenary. Professor Amupitan faced over 2 hours of questioning, focusing on electoral credibility, reform, and restoring public confidence in Nigeria's democratic process.
Lawmakers reconvened for plenary focused on one agenda, the screening of Professor Joash Amupitan, who was barely 1 week ago appointed by President Bola Tinubu and endorsed by the Council of State as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission.
To conduct the confirmation hearing.
The Senate relaxed its rules to admit his immediate family members as well as officials from INEC. In his opening remarks, the 58-year-old professor of law, who is the first INEC chair from the North Central region, gave a brief overview of his background.
My formative years were nurtured in the environment, a nurturing environment of my early primary school at Baptist Primary School, Naitorobede. 3 things have always influenced my life. Number 1, God. Number 2, hard work. And number 3, mentorship.
Immediately after, an extensive screening session began.
With your wealth of experience, can you share with us what accountability mechanisms that you will expand or introduce into our electoral process?
One of the thorny issues that came up in the last election was the issue of BVAS and IREF platform, which were game changers. Given your understanding of the terrain, how do you intend to ensure these technologies function optimally?
IREF was supposed to provide some guarantees and checks and balances. But owing to the issues of glitches, which in simple time, I understand as improper configuration, I have to audit the system if I'm given the opportunity to see what is actually wrong.
Promising to rebuild trust and safeguard the integrity and independence of the electoral process, he asserts that the deployment of technology will be prioritized as a central strategy.
We can also invest more on logistics to ensure that every part of Nigeria we can penetrate. Even if we have to use drones.
On tackling electoral malpractice, especially among returning officers, the professor proposed the creation of an internal oversight system.
There is a need for an electoral offences commission that will be able to investigate. INEC does not really have the capacity presently. We can introduce a whistleblowing policy too that will enable people to detect and expose such practices.
Again, he addresses the question of whether or not he was part of the President Tinubu's legal team in the 2023 elections.
I did not appear in the presidential election tribunal and at the Supreme Court.
So you never represented Peter Obi or PDP?
I was not part of it.
Okay, so
I was not part of it.
After over 2 hours of screening, one lawmaker raised a motion which threw the chamber into a rowdy session.
With the permission of Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, if the nominee could be allowed to answer these questions and then take a bow and take the leave of the Senate.
Sir, you have to rule this motion. To ask questions. You gave the direction, Mr. President. Mr. President, don't allow them to spoil the screening.
The motion is then put into a voice vote.
Those in support that he be allowed to answer the few questions that are still pending, and thereafter take a bow and go. Say aye. Those again say nay. The ayes have it.
Professor Amupeto, a senior advocate of Nigeria who succeeds Professor Mahmood Yakubu, subsequently takes a bow and leaves. Without further delay, the Senate confirms his appointment as the 6th substantive chairman of INEC. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Now to the eastern part of Nigeria, Enugu State Governor Peter Mba has officially defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. Governor Mba said his defection marks a new beginning for Enugu politics and will unify the state for greater progress and prosperity. It was received at a grand rally by APC leaders from across the country led by Vice President Kashim Shettima.
The Michael Okpara Square is filled to capacity as leaders of the All Progressives Congress, including Vice President Kashim Shettima, members of the Progressive Governors Forum, National Assembly members and the National Working Committee of the party, gather for the official defection rally of Enugu State's Governor Peter Mba. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and Imo State's Governor Hope Uzodimma welcomes Governor Mba to the party, describing the decision as wise and bold.
We are here very excited and very delighted to receive our dear brother, the Governor of Enugu State, into our family and informed us of his decision to join the All Progressive Congress. We in this part of the world, the Southeast, we are very excited and very happy.
Other speakers at the event, including the Senate President, highlights the overall benefits of Enugu being a progressive state.
This is a journey that will bring progress. This is a journey that will bring more development. Your Excellency, I thank you for what I've seen. I am a man that believes in progress. The entire Nigerian Senate is here. The leader of the Senate, Opeyemi Bamidele, is with me. May I add that the reason why we are here with my brother, the Right Honorable Speaker, is because we are very happy.
And you're welcome in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Amen.
Assuring Governor Mba of equal treatment, the national chairman of APC then hands over the symbol of the party to the governor.
Today, we are coming together as the Southeast to put an end to fragmented politics and to forge a strong alliance. Today represents a move between Enugu and Abuja. It represents the Southeast aspiration, connecting to the opportunities at the national.
For the Vice President, who is representing President Bola Tinubu, the leadership of the party in the states going forward lies with the state's governor.
For Governor Peter Mba, let me say this with warmth and humor, that you have always been one of us. You are a progressive, true and true. And I am convinced that you had a broom hidden in your umbrella all these years, waiting for the right moment to bring it out. I want to warmly welcome you to the APC. And as far as the APC convention and constitution, the governor is the leader of the party in the state.
Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Enugu State becomes the third APC state in the southeast. The people are hopeful that the connection to power at the center, which the governor cited as his reason for defection, will bring more dividends of democracy to the state.
When News Round returns, former Kenyan Prime Minister Raila Odinga's body arrives home for state funeral. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now we're still in Bayelsa State, where Governor Odinga has formally resigned from the People's Democratic Party after weeks of speculation about his political future. The governor made the announcement during an executive council session, though he did not disclose which party he intends to join next. Sources say consultations are ongoing as political alignments continue ahead of upcoming elections.
Today, the 15th day of October 2025, I wish to formally notify you that in keeping with the extant protocols, I, Governor Odinga, do hereby resign my membership of the People's Democratic Party. And I'm not going to resign alone. And as you can see, I'm here with Mr. Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and all the members of our party who are going to go with me. And so today, I have formally resigned my membership of the People's Democratic Party for very obvious reasons. I'm grateful to all my friends and supporters who have stood by us and with us.
Now, still in southern Nigeria, the Rivers State Executive Council has announced major decisions at its first meeting since the suspension of the 6-month emergency rule held at the Government House in Port Harcourt. The meeting reviewed key contracts awarded during the emergency period, including the cancellation of a 134 billion naira project approved under the IBAS administration.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara is presiding over the first meeting of the Rivers State Executive Council nearly a month after the suspension of the 6-month emergency rule in the state. In attendance are the Deputy Governor, the newly appointed Secretary to the State Government, the Head of Service, 8 retained commissioners, and the permanent secretaries of the Ministries of Works and Education. After hours of deliberation, some council members briefed the press, beginning with the decision to cancel the 134 billion naira contract for the renovation of the State Secretariat complex earlier awarded to CCECC during the emergency rule.
The Executive Council and also directed the refund of 20 billion naira paid as mobilization to the contractors. Secondly, after due deliberations, the Executive Council approved the revalidation of the bidding process for all the 4 contracts earlier advertised in the national dailies of 19 February 2025.
The Council also announced new measures to address challenges affecting computer-based tests, examinations, and flash flooding across the state.
The Executive Council approved the proposal for the establishment of CBT centers and ICT labs across the senatorial districts and indeed the 23 local government areas in the state.
The Council further approved steps to tackle the growing problem of youth unemployment.
His Excellency directed that we should do everything to do a proposal which will be coming up in the coming days. This proposal will be directioned. This proposal will be focused. This proposal, His Excellency will look at it and approve. It will become a framework of action.
The decisions taken by the Rivers State Executive Council are expected to reposition key sectors, address pressing infrastructural and social challenges, and restore public confidence in the administration's vision for a progressive river state.
Now, in a groundbreaking medical milestone, Professor Kingsley Ekweme has successfully performed the first urology procedure in West and Central Africa. The minimally invasive treatment designed for men suffering from enlarged prostates marks a huge advancement for healthcare across the region. Medical experts describe the feat as a symbol of African innovation and Professor Ekweme's commitment to bringing world-class medical standards home.
In the heart of Africa's most vibrant city, a quiet revolution in men's health is underway, especially at the Prostate Clinic, Lagos, where innovation meets compassion.
Good morning, my team.
Good morning. Today, renowned urologist Professor Kingsley Ekweme, a visionary surgeon and pioneer in prostate health across the continent, is prepping his team to perform the first Urolift procedure in West and Central Africa.
What you see with the telescope, you can see now.
Benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH for short, affects millions of men, causing difficulty in urinating, interrupted sleep, and reduced quality of life.
And then we go. Yeah? Go.
To usher in a new era of urological care for African men, the consultant urologist heads for the theater with his team. And after about half an hour, the first Urolift procedure in the region is done and dusted. For Professor Ekweme, the Urolift system, which is widely used in Europe and the US, offers a safe and outpatient solution, as well as an alternative to traditional prostate surgery.
Over the last few months that TPC has been in existence, I see a lot of young men come to me with problems with urination. However, they don't want to accept the side effects of conventional prostate treatments for benign disease, either by resection or using laser or even a robot removal of the prostate gland. It means that it becomes important for us to look at other options that are available. And the Urolift is my preferred option for the reasons. One, there is no cut of prostate tissue removed. Secondly, you keep your erection and keep your ejaculation. And so that's a good option for such men who find it unacceptable to have retrograde ejaculation, which is the case after conventional prostate treatments, that your sperm doesn't come out and you can't father a child naturally.
From surgical theaters to patient hearts, Professor Kingsley Ekweme is making history, but there is more.
My vision for the TPC is wide-ranging. We have achieved the first robotic surgery for Nigeria, West Africa, Central Africa. And we have done nearly 50 procedures successfully without any problems. And now we have introduced the Urolift for benign prostate enlargement, which is the first in Africa. But we're not stopping there. My intention is to further take prostate cancer minimally invasive treatment further.
At a time when many patients travel abroad for advanced medical care, Professor Kingsley Ekweme is helping reverse the trend by bringing world-class urological innovation directly to the continent. Kelly Egiga, Channels Television News.
We end news round in Kenya, where at least 2 people are said to have died after police fired shots and tear gas to disperse a large crowd that had gathered for the public viewing ceremony of late former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Security officers were forced to swing into action after a section of the mourners turned unruly ahead of the late Ryla's body viewing ceremony. Tension flared when some attendees began throwing twigs towards the VIP dais in protest over delays in allowing them to view the body. Some were also seen throwing plastic seats to the officers. After hours of waiting, the crowd which had escorted the motorcade carrying the casket from Jomo Kenyatta International Airport became impatient. Joint security agency teams swiftly responded, firing tear gas canisters to restore order. And the viewing is underway as thousands of mourners have gathered at Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi to view the body. The viewing ceremony was led by President William Ruto, who arrived alongside his widow, Mama Ida Odinga, and members of the Odinga family. A state funeral which began on Friday continues today with his body now on its way to Kisumu, a city in western Kenya on the shores of Lake Victoria, his political stronghold. May so rest in peace. And that's it on News Round today. I am Will Ibang. Thanks for watching.